Good day, ma'am. I am Nina Gerald Sumayang, and here's my speech about is Filipino worth dying for? Filipino so worth dying for would mean that we, the Filipino people who are living in the Philippines, are important to live and endure for the next generation's lives to come. What were died for and sacrificed for of our ancestors and heroes are fully heartfelt. The lives they gave were most valued, selflessly embraced by the present generation. As said by former President Ninoy Aquino, I have asked myself many times, is the Filipino worth suffering or even dying for? Is he not a coward who would readily yield to any colonizer, be he foreign or homegrown? Is a Filipino more comfortable under an authoritarian leader because he does not want to be burdened with the freedom of choice? Is he unprepared, or worse, ill-suited for presidential or parliamentary necromancy? I have carefully weighted the virtues and the faults of the Filipino, and I have come to the conclusion that he is worth dying for because he is the nation's greatest and top resource. Why does Philippines worth our lives? In what situation we can use ourselves to serve our own country? Right now, amidst this pandemic, there are people in our country who really sacrifice themselves for our country. But what does it mean to be a hero? What does it take to help those in need? The poor and at-risk communities, those who are most vulnerable when a disaster strikes. Why should we hold up as heroic the deeds of those who every day continue to extend a helping hand? They are a true hero frontline. They are not alone in these extraordinary times, and despite the very real danger to themselves, Filipino frontline workers, like the other fallen colleague, every day put their own safety and well-being aside to provide life-saving support and protection to the people most in need. In the Philippines, every day since the beginning of the year, humanitarian workers have stood on the front lines dealing with the challenges arising from COVID-19 and other disaster. Events like the displacement from the Taal volcano eruption, the damage went through by Typhoon Ambo, as well as continuing relief efforts in Marawi City and responding to those affected by Cotabato and Davao del Sur earthquakes. Despite the many risks, humanitarians continue to do their work diligently and selflessly, providing assistance to those who need it the most. Through years of responding to various emergencies and capitalizing on national expertise and capacity, the humanitarian community in the country has embraced a truly localized approach by recognizing what at-risk communities themselves can do in these challenging times. The private sector in the Philippines has also stepped up in sharing its resources and capabilities, joining with other humanitarian actors to support affected local governments and communities. As we give recognition to the local real-life heroes, we also need to protect and keep them free from harassment, threats, intimidation, and violence. Since 2003, some 4,961 humanitarians around the world have been killed, wounded, or abducted while carrying out their lives-saving duties. In 2019 alone, the World Health Organization reported 1,009 attacks against healthcare workers and facilities, resulting in 199 deaths and 628 injuries. The COVID-19 pandemic has unveiled an important number of vulnerabilities, as well as exposed our weaknesses in preventing shocks. It has also shown that the magnitude of the challenge is exceeding the response capacity of any single partner or country. It represents, in fact, one of the most dramatic calls to work together. The success of this battle will greatly rely on our capacity to learn and from experience and remain committed to the highest humanitarian values. Our real-life heroes are already giving the example. At the same time, we join Filipinos in upholding, in the midst of great adversity, the tradition of celebrating the best of human kindness, generosity, social justice, human rights, solidarity, and bayanihan spirit. We celebrate what makes our frontliners and humanitarian real-life heroes. We salute them for continuing putting their lives on the line despite the risk and uncertainties. Their efforts must not be overlooked or forgotten. This country is worth dying for. Mabuhay for our real-life heroes.